Day 1 of 7 days of CARS. Today we're going to look at the spine. So our spines are meant to move. It's really important to get it moving every day. In functional range systems, one of the biggest tenets is that we always start with the rotational capacity of a joint before moving into other linear functions. The only exception here is going to be the spine. So we're going to start with that today. To get that spine moving linearly, by that I mean through flexion and extension, the best way I've found to incorporate in a daily routine is to come down into quadruped for a quadruped segmental cat camel. So when you're setting up in quadruped, you want to make sure your wrists are underneath your shoulders and your knees are right underneath your hips. From there, you want to start with sort of a neutral spine, pressing into the ground a little bit to create some tension. Then from here, I'm always going to start at my pelvis and try to make a spinal wave that goes all the way from my pelvis through my lumbar spine, thoracic spine, up through my cervical spine, and then we'll start again at the pelvis to reverse that action. So here's what one looks like at the speed that I do it during my daily routine. So we're starting here, tucking my toes under. I'm going to start by sticking my butt up to the ceiling, then I'm arching my lower back, mid back, upper back, and neck. I want to maintain that upper back position as I tuck my tailbone under, drive my low back to the ceiling, mid back, upper back, and neck. So that's a general level 1 CAR to work on linear spinal segmentation. When you're doing this, the couple of compensations that I tend to see right off the bat. Number 1 is once people get close to their thoracic spine, their upper back, they'll start to pair their scapular motion, or they're going to squeeze their shoulder blades here to make it look like they're getting more extension through their T-spine, but really they're just moving their shoulder blades. So to prevent that, I like pressing into the ground, trying to keep a more neutral scapular position so that you really expose your spine and drive true spinal extension here. The second one that I see is people having only one hinge joint, so they're not able to control that full range of motion throughout their spine, and it ends up looking like this. So the purpose of that part of your daily routine is really to learn to segment your spine, move each vertebrae individually. Super important to learn to move your back. Once you get the hang of that linear flexion extension of the spine, you can start to add in cervical and thoracic CARs. So to move your neck through that rotational aspect of a CAR, we're going to set your feet hip width apart, corkscrew your feet into the ground. The way I cue this one, I like to think of a pencil coming out of your mouth, and if there's a piece of paper right in front of you, you want to try to draw the biggest circle you can with that pencil coming out of your mouth. So we're neutral, we're not moving anything but your neck. So you can clamp your hands by your sides, pretend like you have that pencil in your neck. You're going to tuck your chin down, look to the ground, then you're going to rotate to one direction as much as you can. When you can't any longer, you're going to try and put your ear to your shoulder, then taking your chin up to the ceiling, rotate again, ear to shoulder, tuck that chin to finish off the circle. You'll notice when I'm doing that, I'm not shifting my whole torso or body or hips, I'm just moving my neck. The most challenging one to segment here is the thoracic spine, your upper back. To perform that, we're going to take that same stance, you're going to give yourself a hug, and then you're thinking you're only moving your body from the bottom of your ribs up. So I'm giving myself a hug, I'm tucking my tailbone under, squeezing my butt to radiate tension through my entire body so I don't move through my hips. I'm going to crunch my upper back forward and round it. Then I'm taking that same position, or that same rotation that I did with my neck. I'm going to rotate first, then side bend as much as I can. When you're doing that side bend, think of almost pushing your shoulder back with that arm as you drive your spine into extension, thinking chest to the ceiling here, sternum to the ceiling, rotate, side bend, and then you're going to finish off that circle by flexing forward again. So that one, just like the neck, pretend you have a pencil sticking out of your sternum. You're trying to draw the biggest circle you can there. The common compensations for the thoracic CAR is going to end up being a hula hoop competition here instead of only actually moving your thoracic spine. So really focus on tucking that tailbone under, staying rooted in the ground, so that the movement comes from your spine and not your hips. You can even set up foam rollers around you to make sure that you're not dipping those hips back and forth. Add the spinal cars into your daily routine and your back will thank you.